So I had this dream when I was 5.
Oh.
Um, yeah, so it's been on my mind for the last 50 years. I might have even been as young as 4.
Hmm.
Uh, I was on a beach and there was a giant hole, and Satan was on the other side of the hole, and he kept telling me to get in, and I kept saying no, and he kept saying, yes, you're mine, and I just kept saying no. I was scared, but I wasn't terrified. um, but the only thing on the beach was me and him, some sand, and then the ocean.
Wow, this is so much like that one dream of the lady who was sitting on this ravine. Satan was on this ravine or this black place of darkness, and it also reminds me of Andrew's dream, the dream of digging holes in the backyard. The whole idea that Satan wants us to be in a low place, in a depressed place, and what we really do is like in the dream with the lady, where Satan was coming from behind and then went down into this place of darkness and came up with wings. It's what we really do is we war from the higher places, just like we war from rest, like in young Andrew's dream, even too. He was upstairs and then he came downstairs, but he wasn't out in the backyard in the holes. So I think what this represents is the idea that the enemy wants us to be not in an elevated place, but in a deep, dark, and trapped place. That's what the idea of holes and tunnels and underground represents. It represents a place where there isn't natural light, where there isn't natural breathable air necessarily, there isn't the fresh air, there isn't the sun in your face, kind of a thing. And it represents a place that can easily be a place of hopelessness and a place with very few options. And he wants you to voluntarily submit to that place because what he knows is he can't put you there. You have to agree to go there. Just like in any area of your life, whether it's health, finances, or relationships, or any area that people are struggling with, they can have faith and believe God, but if they choose not to believe God, they voluntarily put themselves into a place where it seems hopeless, it seems dark, they feel trapped, they feel like there's no way out. That's the whole idea of the tunnel. But he doesn't have the power to put you there. He can speak to you and try to get you to coax you into going there, but he doesn't have the power to pick you up and dump you in that place. We have the power. And of course, Jesus, with his work on the cross, has the power to actually throw him in the pit. And that's what his lot is. And he's afraid of that. And so he wants to try to talk us into buying into the same lot that he has, but that's not our place. And so in the dream, you rebuke the devil and you say, I'm not going to go there. And
Yeah, he kept saying, you're mine. I just kept saying no and get in the hole, and I kept saying no. Now, I did wake up and then ran in and told my parents, and they said, oh, it was just a nightmare. Go back to sleep. It'll be over. But when I went back to sleep, I picked up in the same spot.
have you ever had the dream again?
No, no,
Okay.
just that once.
Hmm. That's really interesting. A lot of times, moms don't like this, but when I have dream discussions with moms and I say dreams come from God, including nightmares, they immediately go to, what about my 4 year old that dreamt about this terrifying situation? I had those dreams when I was 4, and what it is God is and I say this and I mean this totally respectfully, but God is not your mom.
Right.
God's your dad. I know I taught my 4 year old how to shoot as a girl when she was 4. you know, and so it's the idea of being aware that there's an enemy that wants to take you to a dark place, to a place of hopelessness. He's letting you know early, and he let you know in such a vivid way. And what I think is really interesting is your parents, they actually didn't know how to fight, because you're like, hey, I had this amazing, incredible, kind of scary dream. Like, what the heck? And they're like, just go back to sleep. And you're like, thank you. That's so not helpful, because I went right back into the same place. And so what it is it's God letting you know. Even sometimes our parents don't have the capability to train us in spiritual warfare, or they don't recognize the moment that we're in. And so they give us advice that's birthed out of a parental thing, which is just, oh, go back to sleep. It'll be okay. but it was a marker in your life. The fact that you remember it still so vividly 50 years later is that God gave you that dream. He allowed you to have that dream because he wanted you to know throughout the whole of your life, this is the trick of the enemy. He stands at the front of a big pit trying to coax you into a place of darkness, hopelessness, a place where you can't see the light, where it's hard to get out of. And it can be emotional, it can be in a mindset, but he's warned you from 5 years old. This is the trick of the enemy, is to try to get you into this place. And so you've lived your life, knowingly or not knowingly, in a place of awareness that this is the work of the enemy. And so when somebody tries to talk you, I would bet that you have a level of discernment that you may not have even known until today, that when somebody tries to back you into a corner or talk you into a place that's a lie or feels like darkness, that you immediately resist because you can sense it and you just know, no, I'm not going there.
I do. I've always had the discernment, but of course, then the Christian side of me is trying to not be judgmental. So then I give them the benefit of the doubt, and every time it gets me into a bad situation.
Up until now. From now
Yeah.
on, you listen just to your discernment. You're like, God told me when I was 5, I have this discernment. No more benefit of the doubt. If this feeling comes up again, I'm out.
Yep.
Right? Wow. It's cool because you can see, you could probably write down even a history of your life and see the markers in your life of how things have happened similar to this dream, where it was God warning you, and whether you follow the voice or didn't follow the voice, you could see a confirmation of the fact that this was a dream from God, letting you know that you have a level of not only discernment, but of a level of warfare, tendency to resist the enemy that wants to put you in this place.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always joke that when I met my first husband, all somebody said was, "Hey, this is Mark." And inside I said, "Oh, he's mean." And he was. He was
Wow.
very mean. So I've learned to listen.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing, Renee. Well, what a cool history you have with God. I love this dream. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's always bothered me, so it's good to have an answer.
Yeah, I think it's a good dream. It's God letting you know that you have discernment, that you have the ability to fight and win, and that you. I think it's also a confirmation, and God's letting you know now through the stream interpretation to trust your judgment, trust that discernment. Don't even second guess it anymore. Just go with it, and watch how things may change differently in circumstances. You have a lot less of kind of bumping your head in situations and be like, man, I kind of felt this was wrong. I should have listened. You know. But
Yeah,
you've had that your whole life.
I have.
Awesome.